At the beginning of the story, we see a bunch of dead monsters surround an island. At the top of the island, we see a demon fighting with a human. The demon stabbed the man and declared that he had won the battle. The man spat out some blood and used his sword to pick himself up. While struggling to stay conscious, the man realized that the world was going to end today. It has been 1 year since mankind has lost the war against the demons. A vast majority of humans have been massacred. The remaining humans were captured and had their mental health destroyed. The demons used the remaining humans as hosts to give birth to new monsters. The man who was kneeling was the last survivor of the resistance, and now he has been defeated by the demon lord Tartarus. Tartarus saw how the man was shaking in pain. He decided to use his magic to help the man feel a little relieved. The man was shocked to see Tartarus helping him. Tartarus told the man that he slowed down his time so that they can have a conversation. Tartarus told the man whose name is Zephyr that he is the first human to ever make him feel worried. He commended Zephyr on possessing an astonishing tenacity. Tartarus told Zephyr that many people do not think about fighting an unwinnable war. He told Zephyr that people who give up because they are scared of their opponent's power are not wise. Tartarus disliked people who gave up without a fight. He commended Zephyr for reaching the top of humanity and challenging him. Tartarus offered Zephyr a job. He told Zephyr to work for him. He stretched his hand out to Zephyr and told him to join him in his conquest. He told Zephyr that they will conquer other small worlds and even the home of the gods. Zephyr was shocked to hear this. He asked Tartarus if he will really accept him. Tartarus smiled and told him that he will. Zephyr told Tartarus that he likes the offer, but he knew that Tartarus was lying, thanks to the fight the two just had. Zephyr's body was already shattered beyond imagination. Zephyr knew that there is no way for his body to return back to its original form. He knew that Tartarus did not really care for him. He knew that Tartarus just wanted to see him beg for his life. Zephyr reached out his hand to shake Tartarus. Before he could touch Tartarus's hand, he remembered how a certain woman always told him to stop cursing. But because Zephyr never listened to this woman, the woman placed a unique spell on Zephyr. Zephyr grabbed Tartarus's hand with all his strength. Tartarus was surprised to see this. He told Tartarus that if he gives someone the finger, his body would explode with enough power to blow the realm. Immediately he said this, he gave Tartarus the finger. A bright light shined and the entire island blew up. Unfortunately for Zephyr, Tartarus was still standing after the explosion. The only thing Tartarus lost was his hand. Tartarus was shocked to see this. He could not believe that such a thing could happen to him. He became extremely angry. After the smoke cleared up, he noticed that Zephyr's body was still intact. He was annoyed to see this. He could not believe that a mere human had the courage to dishonor him in such an insulting manner. He used his other hand to hit Zephyr's body and turn it into dust, and just like that, Zephyr's life came to an end. He was not able to get revenge for his loved ones, and he could not save humanity. The scene shifts, and we see Zephyr wake up in the middle of nowhere. Zephyr did not understand what was going on. He was certain that he had just died. It did not make sense to him that his armor was still intact and his injuries were completely healed. When he looked around, he saw statues of gods. He realized that he was in a temple. He was surprised to see this because he did not remember any temple of this size on Earth. He became nervous and assumed that he must have been sent to the underworld. Immediately he said this. Someone tells him that he is not in the underworld. The person tells him that he is in the lowest floor of Pantheon, a place where the gods reside. Zephyr turned around to see who was talking. Suddenly an angel comes out of a portal. Zephyr was shocked to see this. He tried to summon his sword to defend himself, but nothing came out. He was surprised to see that he could not get his sword out. The angel told Zephyr to not be surprised. She introduced herself as Mercedes. She told Zephyr that she is an high-level angel who is the representative that shares the words of the gods. Mercedes told Zephyr that he should have gone to the underworld after he died. However, after a strong demand came from the three great gods, the gods have decided to send Zephyr back to the past. Zephyr was surprised to hear this. He did not understand what was going on. Mercedes told Zephyr that they will send him back to the past with his memories in order to give him a chance to save the future. She told Zephyr that he will retain his memories when he returns to the past. All his abilities such as his trained physique and magical power won't be retained. Zephyr was shocked to hear this. He knew that Tartarus did not have the ability to make hallucinations. He wondered if he was experiencing a delusion at the end of his life. Zephyr accepted Mercedes' offer. He asked her about what the gods want in return for giving him such an opportunity. When people were dying during the demon attacks, Zephyr and the other humans prayed to the gods but never got any response. The gods ceased all communications with the world. They also took away the cleric's ability to borrow their powers. This led to the clerics losing their ability to heal. Thanks to this, The human armies were quickly defeated. Once the gods knew that they could not gain anything from the world, they quickly threw it away. Zephyr knew that such calculating people would never give him a chance like this for free. Mercedes told Zephyr that the gods want him to show them something a little more interesting. Zephyr was shocked to hear this. Mercedes told Zephyr that the gods have been watching him after humanity fell. She told him that it is rare for a human to have such tenacity even at the end of the world. She revealed to Zephyr that the gods enjoyed watching him fight the demon kind for 5 years. Zephyr was annoyed to hear this. Mercedes told him that the gods feel bad that his world ended in such a short time. While Mercedes was talking, Zephyr threw a projectile at her. The attack hit the statues in the temple. Zephyr remembered how he and his friends fought to survive, and yet the gods thought of their struggles as a source of entertainment. With a look of anger on his face, Zephyr gathered his magical energy on his hand. He asked Mercedes if humans are a source of entertainment for them. He asked Mercedes if the gods have always been looking at them with such perspective. While Zephyr was screaming in anger, Mercedes activated her magic. She summoned a giant's leg to crush Zephyr. Zephyr was surprised to see the leg. He tried to push the giant's leg, but his body got pressed down. Mercedes walked up to him and told that the gods are watching. She asked him to be mindful of his actions. She revealed to Zephyr that the gods only have interest in him. She made Zephyr understand that the gods have no interest in a species as common as humans. With a horrifying look on her face, Mercedes told Zephyr that he will have to prove his worth to get what he wants. She told Zephyr that nothing is free in the world. After saying this, she removed the giant's leg from Zephyr's body. She told Zephyr that there is one god who wants him to regress for another reason. The scene shifts, and we see Tartarus destroying the angels' office. He told them that he wants to see their manager. The angels could only beg him to spare their lives. Tartarus was annoyed that a god like him who had conquered 10 worlds took a hit from a mere human. He told angels to make it look like it never happened. Zephyr was seeing Tartarus's actions through a magic mirror. He could not believe that Tartarus wanted him to come back to life. Mercedes told Zephyr that Tartarus is a demon whose goal is to bring destruction to all worlds. She told him that Tartarus has never lost a battle and he has never been damaged by any being. But that record was broken by Zephyr. Tartarus' pride got hurt thanks to this. Zephyr was annoyed to hear this. He could not believe that Tartarus wanted to start over again because his pride was hurt. Mercedes told Zephyr that Tartarus wants to have another battle in order to have complete victory. She asked Zephyr if he will accept the offer. Zephyr smiled and said that he will grant Tartarus's death wish. The scene shifts, and we see Mercedes activate several magic circles around Zephyr. She told him that she does not know which time period he will regress to. She revealed to him that the gods have given him gifts. These gifts are privileges given to returners. She told Zephyr to check his gifts after he returns. Zephyr did not like the fact that the gods gave him something, but he knew that it will help him on his journey. He vowed to take revenge on the demon god Tartarus and the other gods who look down on humans. After getting the coordinates, Mercedes wished Zephyr the best and asked him to entertain all of them. Immediately she said this. A bright light shined and Zephyr's body disappeared. The scene shifts and we see some men panicking because their rookie is unconscious. The man who seems to be the boss asked the rookie to wake up. This rookie turns out to be Zephyr. Zephyr opened his eyes to see a man pouring water on his head. Zephyr remembered seeing the faces of the men standing in front of him. He recognized the stigma on the men's bodies. He could not believe that he returned to the time when he was a slave of the temple. While he was thinking, the captain of the mine told the 3 men that their breaks are over. When the men heard this, they decided to leave Zephyr alone. The leader among them told Zephyr that he will kill him if he angers him again. Zephyr smiled when he heard this. He asked the man about what he was talking about. The man was annoyed to hear this. He wanted to fight with Zephyr, but he was stopped by his friend. Zephyr did not really care about what the man had done to him. After pushing himself up, a boy who was next to him thanked him for protecting him. Zephyr was surprised because he did not remember the boy at all. He walked past the boy. Zephyr returned back to 10 years before the war. He knew that it will be hard for him to adapt immediately. As he walked forward, he remembered that Mercedes told him to activate his privileges by saying unlock privilege. After the boy walked forward, Zephyr said those words. A bright light came out of his body and his privileges appeared in front of him. Zephyr was surprised to see the gifts he was given. He could not believe that the gods would actually give him such amazing gifts. The scene shifts and we see other slaves compliment Zephyr on his ability to mine. They were surprised to see the speed at which Zephyr was mining. One of the slaves wished that Zephyr was on his team. A few moments earlier, after Zephyr unlocked his privilege, information about his privileges entered his head all at once. Zephyr was shocked to see the privileges he was given. the gods granted him top skills and weapons. Zephyr could not believe the gods would give him something this amazing. While he was lost in thought, the captain called his name. He believed that Zephyr was slacking off. He asked Zephyr about why he is slacking off on his first day. He decided to use his whip to educate Zephyr. Zephyr caught the whip with his hands. The captain was shocked to see this. He could not believe that someone can hold his whip with their bare hands. Zephyr gave the whip back to the captain and apologized for his behavior. He told the captain that he will return to work. The captain was completely lost. He did not understand what was going on. Zephyr realized that the captain's whip looked slow to him thanks to his battle experience. He was more surprised by the fact that his hand did not take any damage at all. Zephyr did not get a scratch on his body thanks to his first perk. This perk is called Wall of Iron. It drastically increases defense power. It completely ignores any damage caused by someone with a lower defense power, and it does not allow one to tire easily, thanks to this perk. Zephyr did not feel tired after mining for a long time. Zephyr did not like the condition to activate the perk because they are a bit picky, but it is worth it because the perk is good. Zephyr was given 9 privileges by the gods. Zephyr was certain that he can become stronger with his knowledge of the future and the perks given to him. At the end of the day, Zephyr submitted a large amount of rocks. The accountant was shocked to see this. He thanked Zephyr for working hard. The different groups were called out after they all submitted their workload. The captain told the slaves that Zephyr's group got first place. The boy who thanked Zephyr for saving him was shocked to hear this. Zephyr realized that the boy is in his group. The men of Group B who beat Zephyr and the boy were shocked to hear this. They did not understand how 2 weak people were able to achieve first place. According to the mining protocol, the supplies and compensation of the lowest group will be shared among the first, second, and third place. Immediately the captain said this. Zephyr noticed how sad the people of the lowest group were. After sharing the supplies among the groups, the captain asked the slaves to pray to the goddess of light Arya. The slaves began to beg the goddess of light for salvation. Zephyr was annoyed to see this. The Temple of Arya, one of the 3 great gods, is the biggest religion in the continent, and it is also the largest loan company. Most of the people in this mine have either lost their home to monsters or they were adventurers who were rescued by the temple and became slaves to pay off their vast medical bill. Thanks to the stigma on Zephyr's hand, he was not allowed to move as he wished. If he goes outside the work territory without permission, his heart would stop and he would immediately die. Zephyr's first goal was to pay his medical bills in order to proceed with his plans. He assured himself that he will be getting his revenge on the demon god and he will protect a young woman called Altair. The scene shifts and we see a priestess tell people to get a consultation. Zephyr was surprised when he saw the prices of the items and food sold in the stores. The boy who Zephyr saved walked up to him. He told Zephyr that he wants to buy a drink for him. Zephyr was surprised to hear this. He asked the boy if he even has any money. The boy told Zephyr that he received his money from the captain. He told Zephyr that he wants to thank him for protecting him and helping him achieve first place. He told Zephyr that their group usually has weak people, so they usually come in last place. When Zephyr heard this, he finally understood why the boy was getting beaten up. If even a single person in a group gets beaten up and became unable to come to work, that group won't be able to mine a lot of iron and by doing that to a single group, the other group's rank will increase. Zephyr told the boy that he does not want anything from him. He did not want the boy to bother him. The boy was shocked to hear this. Zephyr walked up to a store and asked them if they have recovery water. The store owner was shocked to hear this. He asked Zephyr if he is new to the mines. He told Zephyr that a glass of recovery water is 1 gold while a bottle is 4 gold. The store owner advised Zephyr to manage his pain in order to save money. Zephyr gave the owner 1.5 gold and told him that he will pay for the rest through a loan. He asked the owner to give him a form for him to sign. The store owner approved Zephyr's loan. He gave Zephyr a large amount of recovery water. The boy asked Zephyr if he is crazy. He told Zephyr that he will never be able to pay back such a loan with their salary. He told Zephyr that additional loan interest rate are really high. Zephyr told the boy to shut up. He told the boy that he will pay them back. Recovery water is a popular item that recovers a small portion of one's health. The item has an hidden effect where one's magic power increases if they drink a large amount of the potion. Although it is not smart to expect a large change in magical power after drinking 10 bottles, this did not matter to Zephyr because of the perk given to him. This perk is called Vision of Hermes. It drastically increases the effects of all potions. Zephyr knew that he won't be able to get a large amount of money from the mines, yet he continued to drink the potions and work out daily. One day, He went to meet the captain. He told the captain that he heard a monster cry coming from inside the mines. He asked the captain to get the hunter team. He told the captain that he will lead the hunters to where he heard the monster cry. Zephyr's true plans was to earn money from a dungeon. Monsters are creatures born by the twist of mana. Most monsters are usually hostile to humans. Over the years, the monsters caused chaos for humans, but they also gave mankind a new opportunity. The monsters had a precious material called mana stone in them, and their bones were used as materials for items. Due to the value of monsters, a dungeon was seen as a danger and a treasure trove. The hunting squad is a group made up of war-torn slaves. The basic allowance given to the members of this group is high because of the risk they take. Zephyr did not remember why he became a mine worker instead of a member of the hunting squad. He was certain that he was a former adventurer before coming to the mines. He became certain that he forgot something important. While he was lost in thought, the store owner yelled at him. He told Zephyr that he can no longer grant him any loans. The man told Zephyr that he cannot grant a loan to a slave of his caliber. Zephyr became worried when he heard this. He did not know where to borrow money in order to buy the recovery water. While he was thinking, a priestess approached him. She told Zephyr that he can get more loans if he sells his intestine to their temple. Oddly enough, Zephyr accepted the deal. The priestess brought out a document and asked Zephyr to sign it. The store owner was shocked to see that Zephyr actually wanted to sell his intestine. He believed that Zephyr was insane. Zephyr used the money he received to purchase more recovery water. The priestess was shocked to see this. She believed that Zephyr was crazy. The store owner was sad to see that Zephyr actually collected the loan. He could not believe that another slave was going to the temple's research facility. After drinking all the recovery water he bought, Zephyr finally achieved his goal. Immediately, he finished the potions. A man in armor approached him. He asked Zephyr if he is their guide. Zephyr was happy that the team arrived on time. The man in armor introduced himself as Court. He told Zephyr that he is the captain of the reconnaissance team. He introduced the two men behind him as Dale and Marco. Zephyr introduced himself to the team. He told Court that he can use a mana sensing skill, but he cannot use a night vision skill. A night vision skill allows someone to see in the dark, while mana sensing skill allows one to spread mana in order to sharpen their senses, in order to get into a dungeon without alerting any monsters. These skills are important. Court was annoyed that he had to buy a night sensing potion. He asked Zephyr to start the journey. Marco gave Zephyr their bags to carry. Dale was surprised to hear that a miner could use a mana sensing skill. As the men walked forward, Zephyr realized that he knew one of the men in the group. According to Zephyr's past life, 2 people died in this dungeon. Zephyr smiled when he realized how he could make use of the men in front of him. After walking for a while, the men arrived at the entrance of the dungeon. They saw 3 men standing at the entrance of the dungeon. The leader of this 3 men told Zephyr and the reconnaissance team that they are the backup team. He asked the members of the reconnaissance to stretch out their hands. The man put a blue bracelet on the hands of Zephyr and the team. He told them that the bracelet contains magical power. He told them that the bracelet he is wearing will be broken if anything happens to them. He assured them that he would contact the headquarters if he sees any problem. After explaining the functions of the bracelet, he wished them good luck. When the men stepped into the dungeon, Zephyr walked at the front of the men in order to guide them. Inside the dungeon, we see some monsters patrolling an area. Someone throws a rock at the wall. The monsters were surprised to see this. They did not know where the rock came from. While the monsters were staring at the rock, Court and Dale appeared at their backs. Court and Dale swiftly killed the monsters. The job of the reconnaissance team is to confirm if there are monsters in a dungeon and collect information regarding the dungeon. Based on the information collected, an attack team will be organized. The attack team will possess enough firepower to clear the dungeon. The reconnaissance team are also hunters that have fighting abilities. After searching the dungeon for a while, Court told his teammates to assist him in clearing the dungeon. Reconnaissance teams are also allowed to clear a dungeon if they have enough power. Marco and Dale were shocked to hear what Court said. Dale told his captain to not act careless. He told his captain that they have not searched everywhere in this dungeon and they do not know where danger could be lurking. He reminded his captain that there are only 3 people who can fight in the dungeon. Court told him that there are 4 people in the dungeon. He told Dale that the people there are enough to kill the monsters called Cobalt. Dale was shocked to hear this. He reminded his captain that Zephyr would be a burden to them. Marco asked Dale to stay calm. He asked his captain if he has a plan. Court told Zephyr to bring out a product. Zephyr brought out hazelnut leaves and fruits. Court told his team that they can mix the fruit with cobalt feces. It will give out the smell of a female cobalt. This smell is so strong that any cobalt can smell it from 100 meters away. One of the kobold in the area happened to get a scent of the mixture. Its body became hyper. As it ran towards the scent, it fell into a trap set by the team. Marco and Dale were surprised to see how many kobold fell into the trap. They began to praise their captain. Dale asked his captain about how he was able to come up with such a unique idea. Court told him that he got this technique thanks to the experience he has accumulated. This was a lie. Zephyr was the one who actually told Court about this method. Court was someone Zephyr already knew in his past life. Zephyr was in the same hunting group as Court. Court had always wanted to be recognized by others, but he never got a chance. Due to the fact Zephyr knew about Court's ambitions, he approached Court while they were searching the dungeon. He told Court that it will be better for him to clear the dungeon himself. He told Court that he has already checked the dungeon before their team arrived. He told Court that the dungeon is simply a low-grade kobold dungeon. Court was shocked to hear that Zephyr checked the dungeon by himself. He asked Zephyr if he is stupid. Zephyr told him that he was a scout before he became a slave. He told Court that he knows how to hide. After hearing Zephyr's plan, Court asked Zephyr if the plan was actually going to work. Zephyr assured him that the plan is foolproof. After seeing how Zephyr's strategy worked successfully, Court became convinced that Zephyr was useful. He knew that hazelnuts are hard to find in this area. He was certain that Zephyr carefully prepared for the dungeon. He liked the fact that Zephyr passed the decision to him and did not get involved. He became certain that he needed to transfer Zephyr to the hunting team. He gave Zephyr a knife to defend himself. Zephyr was happy to see that he had gained the captain's favor. When the men arrived in the last area of the dungeon, Dale saw a bunch of bones on the floor. He wondered if the bones were leftovers that something ate. After carefully looking at the structure of the bones, Dale quickly realized that the bones belonged to the kobold. Immediately he had this realization. A giant claw grabbed him from the ground. The claw threw Dale at the wall. Marco quickly activated his skill when he saw this. He did not understand what was going on. He believed that the dungeon was going to be easy for them. He quickly realized that they needed to get out of the dungeon. He was confident that his mana shield skill would not fail him. Unfortunately for him, the monster used its tail to destroy the mana's shield and knocked him out. Court became aware of the monster in front of them after seeing its tail. Unfortunately for him, the monster used its tail to attack him too. Outside the dungeon, the leader of the backup team noticed that 3 out of the 4 bracelet had broken. He quickly realized that something had happened inside. The scene shifts and we are taken back to Court. We see Court bleeding from his hand. Court was very surprised to see Zephyr standing in front of him. Zephyr had partially shielded Court with his wall of iron skill. Zephyr noticed that his hand was shaking. He was surprised to see that his skill was not able to completely block the attack. He was certain that the monster was still a baby. It did not make sense to him that the monster was already so strong. He realized that he had to take the monster serious. The monster used its tail to grab Dale. This monster is a predator. It uses its ability to confuse other monsters and make them raise it as their own. When it grows into an adult, it eats the one that raised it. Zephyr picked up Court's spear and decided to use it. Zephyr first swung the spear in order to get used to it. Court was shocked to see this. Zephyr was happy to see the monster. He was happy because he could finally relieve some stress. Zephyr activated his 3rd perk and asked the monster about how it wants to die. Guys, we have come to the end of our video. If you guys want part 2 of this video, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button for more recaps. See you guys later.